Today I rise to honor and celebrate the life of a beloved community leader, legendary civil rights activist, and force of change and peace, Reverend Dr. Cecil Chip Murray. His unfortunate passing on April 5th this year is not only a loss to the Los Angeles community, but to the thousands of lives he influenced through his tireless efforts to uplift communities that have been historically overlooked. Reverend Murray was born in Lakeland, Florida on September 26, 1929, and lived in the segregated South until he graduated from Florida A&M University, after which he served in the U.S. Air Force for 10 years. Ever committed to education and his relationship with Christ, he received a doctorate in religion from the School of Theology at Claremont College and became a pastor of First AME Episcopal Church of Los Angeles, where he served for 27 years. His historic and socially engaging sermons quickly grew a congregation of 250 members to an over 18,000-person membership, bringing in celebrities, community members, and policy makers alike, like Los Angeles' first African-American Mayor Tom Bradley. Reverend Chip Murray did not shy away from political issues that impacted his constituents, such as during the 1992 riots following the Rodney King verdict. He became nationally recognized through his incorporation of personal spirituality, a thrust for justice, an expectation of accountability to uplift and offer guidance to community members through faith-led civic engagement and compassion. And on a personal note, I would like to say, if Reverend Chip Murray had been alive during these past civil unrests, it would not have been as bad in Los Angeles, especially at USC and UCLA. He had a calming influence on people that helped us move to a nonviolent way of protesting. He was the master at it, and I wish that many of us who had the opportunity to meet him could share that with other members here, because it was a once in a lifetime. He was our in Los Angeles. He was our Martin Luther King in many ways. And if you ever went to one of his sermons or ever really just talked to him, you would know how influential he was. He was a man inspired by Christ's message of hope, seeing beyond the problems facing his congregation and facilitating solutions that serve the underserved. He's responsible for bringing millions of dollars into South Los Angeles communities through employment, economic development, housing, and educational reforms. Leading a Christ-led life by example, he shared a successful framework with hundreds of faithful leaders who will continue with the intention of showing the same love, dedication, and desire for positive social change that is the Reverend Murray's legacy. He is survived by his son Drew, niece Tammy Murray, nephews Anthony Murray and Kevin Murray, grandniece April Cohey, and grandnephews Isaiah Murray and Corey Murray. I respectfully request that we adjourn in his memory. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones-Sawyer. Mr. Gibson, you are recognized for your adjournment in memory.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members. I want to thank my colleague from Los Angeles, my Kappa brother, for bringing this adjournment before this body today. As we honor the life, the legacy of the Reverend Cecil L. Murray. We call him Chip Murray. He was known by many names: Chip Murray, pastor, civil rights leader, the Black Moses of Los Angeles, the drum major for justice, a fighter for the marginalized and the left out and those who've been forgotten, a voice for the hopeless and the disenfranchised. He was a veteran, a husband, a father, someone you can reach out and touch anytime, no matter how big his church attendance rose. He was always a pastor that entertained the VIP, if you will, but he was always down to earth for anyone that can touch him and reach him. And he always had a powerful word to say. After receiving his undergrad degree from Florida A&M in 1951, Cecil Chip Murray enlisted in the United States Air Force and served in the Korean War as a jet radio interpretation officer and received the Medal of Valor. After serving his country, he moved to Los Angeles, and he was a pastor of the First AME Church of Los Angeles. And I remember back in 1992 being at First AME. It was a tough time in Los Angeles because that was a time when Rodney King, the motorist, was beaten. And we gathered as leaders. I was working for, at that time, Mervyn Dimely, and I was a police officer in Maywood. And I remember Tom Bradley being ushered out of First AME quickly. Los Angeles was burning. But as turmoil broke out, Chip Murray had a word for the people. And he was listened by so many people that he had that much influence in Los Angeles. As an activist, he created job training centers, home ownership loans, affordable housing, and also he got involved in the HIV/AIDS awareness in Los Angeles. He also started the Renaissance, a nonprofit organization that focused on economic development in South Los Angeles. He is remembered by his family, who my colleague had already made mention, and those individuals stand in the back, and we're very grateful. But I want to leave his quote, it's a quote that I always use. I know that God's tomorrow will be better than today. And I want to say thank you very much for being a drum major for justice. Thank you for having an impact on so many lives. And thank you to his family for allowing him to do what he was called to do. I respectfully ask that we adjourn in his memory.
Thank you, Assemblymember Gibson, and our condolences to your guests.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, with us today are Reverend Murray's family, his niece Tammy Murray, grandniece April Cohey, and Rethis Murray in the back. I want to give the family a round of applause.